Logic.
Battle started.
And get ready for another clash in today's free-for-all frenzy. Our challengers representing AllReasonNoLogic, we have Tank Tom in green and Briticus in red. And one of our favourite guests, we have Winera from Denmark. Let's check out the skills and the misclicks and quite often epic raids that these players bring to the table. Today we're facing off on Trefoil Remake 2.20. A map that somewhat resembles a nuclear hazard sign. Speaking of, I'd be very surprised if we got to the nuclear phase of a game like this. But you never know. Running in on our players, Tom going into vehicles. Typically on a map like this, I'd go bots just to get out to the front, quickly try and reclaim, get onto these 3.1 mechs as fast as possible. That's what Briticus is doing, hopefully. Building this Cortex bot lab. And over at Winera, our only Armada player going into vehicles. Getting a strong wind set up at the start there. All players going into 4-wind, sorry, Briticus only into the 2, but going for the safety solar. Map like this. Now, you might want to do a solar start where you build 3 mexes and then your solar, because the solar does not take any energy to build, and you'll find 3 mexes will bottom out your energy. However, on a map like this, you've got 5 wind speed minimum, so wind is the most efficient for form of energy income for this map, maybe even better than Geo, given that it goes all the way up to 25. And maybe someone can leave a comment down below to confirm that for me. If the wind's running at 25, is that better than the Geo? We've got this solar though, and probably an unnecessary build when the wind is so high. Just go for a couple extra wind. You can build 3 winds to that solar plus some. Now, a map like this, you do want to get radar up quite quickly, because if you build a radar in this location here, it will cover that entire center of the map. Another thing I wouldn't mind seeing is you can build some sonar radars like there or here, and that way you can see when some units will come around the side of your map. Let's save your Tank Tom, and also cover that middle. And generally, unless you go Navy, those don't get taken out when they're down hugging those rocks there. But our first raid, just after one of those radars I was talking about comes up, when you're nicely done with that radar, spotting these grunts, and probably going to get quite an efficient trade, because those blitz definitely do beat the grunts. And we've lost 4 grunts, and just the 1 blitz when you're going over there to suck that metal back up. Tom with plenty of energy coming in. Winera just the 8. Bruticus just the 6. A little bit low on energy there, but still overflowing, so it doesn't matter. All players spreading out to get those mexes at the back of their base. No one venturing into the middle yet though. So a map like this, the T1 Navy is also an option if you can get a nice defense. Let's use Bruticus as an example. Nice defense set up there, maybe some thugs out of this vehicle lab, this bot lab. Maybe some aggravators, all good at pushing away early game attacks. You can then jump out the back, build a lab there. You can claim those mexes in the water, and you can then send it around your boats. Not only can you harass at the back of everyone else's base, you can also use those boats, those lighter boats, to actually go through those shallower waters. They can traverse through there. So T1 boats being a lot stronger than both the vehicles and the bots. Let's see if anyone goes up. Briticus putting up some torpedo launches here, so interesting investment. I wouldn't mind seeing what he's doing over here. The jellyfish. Maybe he's going for that naval transition. We'll say nicely stealing those trees from the middle of the map, getting that extra energy. Maybe that's what he's been doing. Yes, that is what he's been doing. He's been offsetting the lack of wind with that reclaim by the grave robber. I did miss that. Always something good when you go watch, which these other players have not done. And I think you'll find, yes, that's going to fall pretty quickly with that constructor moving into the middle of the map. When you're the only aggressive player and sending some pincers out the back. Unfortunately, he's going for Bruticus. Tom would have been the better option, but he's not to know because Bruticus is building some pretty strong defenses there. Maybe expecting a naval attack, whereas Tom just leaving that back line completely open. I mean, I don't mind it. This game is about risks and where you allocate your metal. And Tom allocating it into what looks like 10 pounders. That would be... I'd actually say what Tom's got here is easily enough to just go run over the middle of that base and probably push up into someone's base as well. Looking at the economies, Wanira definitely ahead. Building that muskrat, oh sorry, the beaver got his Cortex. Sorry, Armada. Cortex, it's the muskrat. Using that muskrat to go and pick up those... oh, didn't even realise that radar was his. I thought that was Bruticus. Nice little sneaky play there. Building up a few of those tanks on the north of the map. And definitely the best economy at the moment, having taken those 4 extra mexes, which is going to get him an extra 12 metal per second. That will make a big difference. You're going to be able to pump out one of these pounders every 10, 15, 20 seconds based on that metal. Like the incorporation of the Janus there. Massive damage from those twin rockets that jump out and can scout out with those blitzers to provoke the opponent. I think Bruticus might need to watch out here. Having this many blitzers, the vision from these whistlers, harassment from stouts, which do quite a bit of damage. And then, of course, that Janus, that commander could get taken out pretty quickly. You're going to see some D-guns. Just like that, 20% taken off just from that one Janus hit. The grunts being nice and aggressive. If that Janus can get one shot off to them, if they don't chase, they will go down pretty quickly. And bang, just like that. As expected. Very nice by Wanira. Quite deadly with that Janus so far. Already getting 5 kills. I'm liking the aggression out of these two players. Tom, on the other hand, sitting back there. Just a tip, if you're in a free-for-all with 3 players and you can hear a battle going on, that means both players are probably losing units. That might be the perfect time to grab an army like Tom has here and move it on in. That's 3,500 metal worth of tanks sitting on the field. This would be the perfect time for Tom to go and attack. And those pincers have been sent in. I did think that these torpedo launchers and the jellyfish were a bit of an over-investment, but they have paid off. My doubts were wrong. Tom now putting up those jellyfish as well. Probably more like what I would do in my base, just the one jellyfish, enough to deter, but not completely stop. That's where you'd react with whatever you're building. And Tom's struggling to use all of his metal at the moment. Needs a bit more build power. Wanira charging ahead, already building that T2. And Bruticus now going for some strong economy. Some twin guard laser towers, great for defending the base in the early game. And that geo coming up, so energy troubles all sorted now with the highest energy income out of all the players. I like it. Metal though definitely going to Wanira, followed by Tank Tom with a little bit of conversion, a lot of conversion. Got 9 converters going there, most of them turned on. When you do build converters, I see a lot of new players building way too many converters, and you see them all turned off, kind of like what's happened now, that Tom's building multiple things at the same time, which is totally fine. But building too many and not using them. I know they only take 1 metal a sec, but what they do take to build is a lot of energy, 1200 per. So if you focus on building too many of those that you don't need, you're going to drain that energy and it's not going to be there to convert. You want to focus that time building onto building a bit more wind before building those converters. Kind of like what Bruticus is doing here. He's got the right amount after his wind's all up. I mean, not saying to do it. You might want to just go a handful of wind and then one converter, some more wind, and then one converter. Geo, 5 converters. I like the use of the consoles here. What is the plan? Maybe just an assisting tool to help get these T2 mechs up. And then what have we got in the plan here? We've got a bunch of Mausers. Great unit, do a lot of damage. Only shoot with a radius of, I think, about 170 degrees. So you do have to keep them facing towards your opponent. Bruticus with the knowledge, with that radar up on the front line. That blue has full control, and he's probably thinking to himself, if I don't do something about this, and our friend Tom's not doing anything about this, who is just finishing a T2 transition, blue is going to boom if we don't do anything about it. And going around trying to take out some of these mexes, and I think these 3 little grunts, great play here. Probably going to get their medal worth. Maybe not these ones over here though. One mex down. 2 mexes down. We're going to see another mix down and maybe a constructor if they're microed. Yes, nicely played. Good little raid here. Great micro, great APM had a Bruticus controlling all 3. Oh, I'll take that back, just that army stopped being microed. This one here jumping in. Unfortunately going to lose to that LLT. And nicely defended, but good intel coming out of that. Bruticus now knowing that T2 is up and running. What is he going to do about it? Oh, here's the answer. Did not see that air transition. A very quick one, obviously. Tom now into some solid T2, going for that economy. A little bit behind Wanira. Wanira there really getting that T2 up, running faster than everyone else. And the difference was those 4 mexes taken in the middle. And he's still overflowing and struggling just to have the energy. Is there anything he's going to do about that? What are we up to? 14 bombers here now for Bruticus, and yeah, you can see them fly around on the corner there when they do come up on this radar. So only if Wanira happens to look in this direction, he'll see the aircraft take off the ground, just like that. So won't be getting that alert of aircraft detected unless they actually come within vision. Lots of pounders, but they're an extremely slow unit, and unless there's some poor micro against them, these pounders can probably die at a distance, but they're also not a unit that you want to retreat with because they just take so long to get out of any engagement. Doing a lot of damage though against that first force, but now Wanira's clearly got the Mausers and this bull as an option to push into Tom's base, which he might be doing. These Tiger tanks just coming out in time. I'd love to see them go in and around like this. If you go in and around, you're more likely to cut off these Mausers, which can only shoot when facing forward. You can see the arc of shoot there is about 170 degrees. That ball may be just enough to deter a push from these Tigers. Ah, the bombing run. It's happened while I've not been looking. Nice play by Bruticus, and Wanira quickly jumping that commander into the water. Is he going to go and try to do damage elsewhere? Nice use by the scout as well. Fantastic transition here by Bruticus, knowing that he's not being attacked. You can hear in the background the tank battle going on between Tom and Wanira. Perfect time to do some damage, and this is going to be potent. Looking for that commander. We might just be going straight for the snipe. We are. About half of that health taken out of that commander straight away. Is Tom going to put him invisible? I think this might be GG for Tom. I wouldn't mind seeing you can stretch out the impact print of these bombers. And let's bring Tom into the channel. Unlucky Tom. Bruticus has been focusing on that air, and I think that interaction between you and Wanira could be heard in the background. And a lot of damage done there. You didn't put your commander on invisible, which is possibly an option to pull out of that.
I meant to put... I thought I had anti-air building, but apparently nowhere near enough.
Yeah, that's a lot of bombs. I think he got up to about 30 before he sent them in.
Yeah, we were just chatting because the rest of us are all in the same chat. But you can't actually D-gun, like you can't queue a D-gun against those bombers, was what I found out.
It's just too hard to click onto them.
In a line.
Yeah.
But because it won't just fire and hit them, it has to fire up.
What
no way to necessarily...
Just for the viewers, what I was trying to note before is if you select a bunch of bombers, rather than just selecting a target like Bruticus has done here, and you can see most of those bullets miss, you want to kind of like spread out, right click and spread out your where you think that those units are going to drive, and that way you're going to get an area of effect. And Bruticus nicely cleaning up these units. I reckon he's got the ability to really impact this game now, even though only on plus 18 metal still compared to Wanira's 74. I believe these bombers are going to be able to put out a lot of damage if we can take down that chainsaw early on.
Looks like it's not queued up to be hit, but he is going to do a lot of eco damage with that.
If we can take out that chainsaw, which could probably be done in that first pass. Yep, it looks like he's changing his direction. There you go. And this should be just enough bombers to take out that chainsaw.
Fiend's coming in as well.
Oh, nice transition. I missed that. And I think this is going to be economic destruction for Wanira, who's now gone into a naval transition. But Bruticus is doing the same. Wouldn't mind seeing Bruticus jump up into the middle and take some of these mexes, and also jump and send a res bot down to your commander just to res that, so he's got a backup.
Or just send a... If he can get a builder over there, he'll be able to take that entire base through there.
Yeah. I think this is a stage where Bruticus could just put these bombers onto a fight command and just spread them down the... across these mexes, and then they'll just automatically go from one to the next, so that he doesn't have to select units one at a time.
Does he still have his air lad? No, he doesn't. He's gotten rid of it now.
It's been reclaimed for that T2 transition. Bruticus now in a commanding position, and he has clawed that metal advantage all the way back because all these advanced metal extractors are turning off, and Wanira is only getting an income of 5 to 7 metal whilst they're turned off. So this has been from the biggest disadvantage to the biggest advantage in the game. A very nice air transition.
Give him some insight as to where Wanira is at. I expect there's some good banter going on in the background. And Brute hasn't been able to see that commander yet.
His Cortex, I think the answer here would actually be going a ton of ducks or even some scuttles, but the ducks probably the more efficient trade. They're actually more effective in the water than they are out of the water. The out of the water lasers are not doing much damage, and they're obviously a slow waddling unit, whereas those torpedoes that they kick out do a lot of damage and will take on ships with quite great efficiency.
Just as Wanira gets some energy up to be able to use those mexes, they go down to the Fiends.
And that actually increased Wanira's metal income just because those weren't sucking the energy out of him. So he's now on 9% per second because all the mixers have now turned on, or the couple that he's got in the water and the one that's still in the middle. Bruticus now going out to the middle of the field there to reclaim metal, and he's actually building a metal storage because he knows he's going to have so much metal coming in. And back into an air transition. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into some torpedo bombers. Tier 2.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Juno coming out here.
No effect on that one with no scouting units or builders out. It's interesting how Junos do 1% of damage on all these units just from the impact. I wonder if you built 100 Junos if you're able to take some of this stuff out, because they do have unlimited range. That would be a very uncanny way to win a game.
A lot of metal investment to make that work, though.
Excuse me.
We can see that there's some submarines coming out of that lab that Brute's built in the ocean there.
We've got another 16 queued and going into that T2 transition. Now, energy being the factor that's holding Bruticus back. If he does focus on getting that Geo up, which he does have queued after the mix is built here in the corner, I think that's going to be more than enough to take his economy to endgame. Wouldn't mind seeing Rhaenyra send out a scouting unit just to find out that your base is still unoccupied. It could be a path of a comeback.
Potentially, but he has to get there first.
Bruticus now with 5,000 metal to spend. Oh, he's going into a transport. What is that for? What is he getting up to? Maybe simply to transport the constructors around the map. No, because there's flying constructors going over there.
I'm not sure.
A dragon. He's, with that massive amount of metal, I mean, the dragons cost 5,000, but that's how much metal he has. Maybe he's just building one dragon. He knows it can't get D-gunned down from in the water. So a very nice move there. And he's probably scouted. Let's just check that player view. Only the T1 lab up. So the only thing that's going to be defending is some T1 anti-air. And you can see here, looking at the naval constructor, that, yeah, they can only build those naval nettles. So no advanced anti-air in the water, or upgraded anti-air, I should say, until you get to that T2 phase. Continuous use of those Junos, I like it, just making sure that there's no intel coming in. And Bruticus's eco really starting to boom here. Especially now that that advanced geo is up, I don't see a comeback from Rhaenyra.
No, neither do I. And when you've got enough build power to consistently make a dragon, you know you're in a pretty good spot in these sort of situations.
So it looks like he's going dragon into torpedo bomber.
He knows at this stage that Rhaenyra is hiding out in the ocean somewhere.
I'm assuming he's going to use this dragon to just go straight for those AA turrets, take all the damage because it's got such high health at about 17,000, I believe. 16,700. And then follow it in with these torpedo bombers to try and destroy that commander with a snipe. Although it looks like he's going straight in.
And that dragon's already on the way straight on into Rhaenyra's base. Rhaenyra with an amphibious complex coming up.
Perhaps going for, we can build the Archangels out of that, so that would be a good cannon of the anti-air, but it's going to be a bit late. And reclaiming that. I wonder why he's reclaimed. Maybe he's decided he just doesn't have that eco.
At this point, he should be seeing the dragon coming through.
He's gone into the seaplane platform. I don't mind that, but now he's going to see this dragon and it's going to be a big problem.
Those skaters doing more damage to the dragon than I would have expected.
Yeah, I've not used them much. Dragon facing them though does definitely do damage, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough to... Oh, maybe. I'm wrong.
That is that anti-air all down now.
Torpedo bomber able to do some damage now, and that's scouting around the side of the map. You can see there's a number of them now, all being called into attack now that there's no anti-air. I think we're going to see the end of this game come shortly.
Yep, and that's Wineera with the...
The benefit of this seaplane platform is you can build it underwater, but Wineera seeing absolutely no chance of coming back from that
Battle
one. And a
ended.
good game out of these two guys. Bruticus definitely turtling up a little bit more than everyone at the start, but deciding that air transition could be a potential way to claw the game back. And when he could hear that damage being done between the two tank battles that you guys had down in Tom's base, he's realised, oh, this is the time to strike. And I think there was approximately 30 bombers there. Nice move, Bruticus. Good game.
Yeah, I went to raid whoever was down south, which turned out to be a Wineera, and they seemed to either have the same idea with the blitzers, or they were heading out middle, and caught my raid. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to bust that with that many blitzers already. So I just sat my base for a bit and tried to poke out and failed with the comm. So I turtled.
Nicely done.
What happened with those grunts was I had a radar up, so I did see them, so I just intercepted it.
After the solo 4 wind, I had a radar as well because I was expecting an early raid from someone.
Yeah, it was a bit of a quiet start. But Wineera, you had such an economic advantage for most of that game, especially once you took those 4 extra mechs in the middle. That brought in another, I think, 12 metal per second. So you really boomed there for a little bit. And then, unfortunate for Tom, he got sniped out of the sky after you got hit first. Overall, really good game. Some nice tactics there. I like the use of the dragon, Bruticus, just to clear out and take the damage from the anti-air, knowing that it would all be T1 anti-air. And then coming in, of course, with those torpedo bottoms, which didn't find use because Wineera could see that there was no hope at that stage of the game.
The dragon wasn't actually to clear out all of that. The dragon was because we wanted one in the game for so long, and I thought, this is the game I'm going to throw a dragon in.
I can respect that. It's always satisfying to get a dragon out in these sort of situations.
A greedy play, I like it. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. And if you'd like to drop a replay or participate in one of these, jump over to our Discord. There's a number of threads there on how to participate. There's also a link to our Discord in the description in the video below the video. Thanks for watching.
Bye for now.